All right, let's talk about Gundam. It's this massive 45-year-old sci-fi universe, and yeah, it can feel absolutely impossible to approach. If you've ever wanted to jump in but just had no idea where to even start, well, you are in exactly the right place. So, just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about here, the Gundam franchise has been going strong since 1979. That is over 45 years. We're talking decades of world building, endless conflicts, and of course, a whole legion of giant robots. To put it in perspective, that's almost as long as Star Wars has been around. And yeah, when you look at a timeline that long, it's totally natural to feel a bit overwhelmed. I mean, decades of TV shows, movies, comics, games, it's a lot. But, and I promise you this, there is a secret. There's one simple, kind of elegant key that unlocks the entire thing. A single idea that makes it all click into place. So here's our game plan. We're going to look at just how huge this universe is. Then I'll reveal that big secret about the timelines. We'll dive into the original saga, the Universal Century, and then check out all the standalone worlds. We'll also touch on how it's way more than just anime. And then, finally, we'll get to the big question. Where on Earth do you actually start? Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get right to that core secret. The single most important thing you need to know about Gundam is that not everything is connected. Nope. The whole franchise is basically split into two totally different kinds of stories. And this right here, this is the key to everything. On one side, you have what's called the Universal Century, or UC for short. Think of this as the original main timeline. It's one gigantic continuous story. Then, on the other side, you've got the alternate universes, or AUs. These are totally standalone stories. Each one is a fresh start, a complete reboot. And this is so crucial. You do not have to watch everything to understand something. So let's start with the big one, the foundation, the Universal Century. This is really the heart and soul of the Gundam franchise. It's the epic saga that started it all, and believe it or not, it's still going today. What really defines the UC timeline is its super grounded, serious tone. It treats its giant robots not as these cool superheroes, but as, realistic weapons of war. The stories are way less about simple good versus evil and much more about the messy, tragic, human side of political conflicts. And every single major show or movie in this timeline builds on the history that came before it. And you can see this in action right from the get-go. The original 1979 series, that sets the whole stage. A few years later, Zeta Gundam comes along and deals with all the political fallout from that first war. And then the movie Char's Counterattack brings the central rivalry from the very beginning to this absolutely epic conclusion. It's all one long, sprawling story. Okay, now let's hop over to the other side of that divide. If the Universal Century is like one massive novel, then the alternate universes, they're like a collection of amazing short stories. Each one is a fresh, exciting reinvention of what Gundam can even be. And this is exactly why they are perfect for newcomers. You can literally jump into any AU series with zero prior knowledge. They take the basic ingredients, a powerful robot called a Gundam, some young pilots, big themes about conflict, and just run with them in completely wild and different directions. And the variety is just incredible. For example, you've got G Gundam, which is basically a bonkers martial arts tournament with giant robots. Seriously. Then there's Gundam Wing, a story full of espionage and rebellion that was a massive hit here in the West. And more recently, you have The Witch from Mercury, which is this cool sci-fi high school drama. They could not be more different from each other. But guess what? They're all Gundam. But of course, the Gundam story isn't just something you watch on a screen. Over the last 45 years, this franchise's footprint has expanded into pretty much every type of media you can imagine. So, beyond the main anime, there are literally hundreds of manga and novels that flesh out both the UC and the AU timelines. Then there's the huge world of Gunpla, those plastic model kits that are a massive hobby all on their own. And yeah, of course, there are tons of video games and even live-action movies in the works. It's a true multiverse. But, it's not all a perfect track record. It's worth pointing out that, especially within the fandom, the video games have let's call it a mixed reputation. As our source material notes, there's this feeling that a lot of the games just coasted on the famous name instead of focusing on quality. And that's led to some pretty infamous duds over the years. Which, brings us right back to where we started.
We've mapped out the universe, we've shared the big secret of the two timelines. So now, with all this knowledge, you can finally pick your own starting point for getting into Gundam.
And honestly, it really is this simple. If you're looking for a deep, complex, interconnected war story that spans decades, you start at the very beginning, the original Mobile Suit Gundam from 1979. But if you'd rather have a standalone story you can just watch and finish, one with a clear beginning, middle, and end, then you just pick any alternate universe that sounds cool to you. Whether that's the high school drama of Witch from Mercury or the spy thriller vibes of Gundam Wing, there's really no wrong answer here. The Universal Century gives you this incredibly rich, rewarding history. The alternate universes offer just endless variety and creativity. Each path has its own amazing stories to tell. So I guess the only real question left is, which world are you going to explore first?